Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game, and it's a preview of West Ham United against Burnley, the team that are doing the best outside the top six and possibly even challenging for the top six against a team that we all hoped would be doing that. Unfortunately, we're trying to stay away from the bottom three. Before I ask about Gonzo's thoughts on Burnley, you can join us on the boats on Saturday before or after the game, or both if you're a bit like me and Gonzo and you really like a beer and you really like a burger and you really like company of West Ham fans. Link is in the description below. Get your tickets and come and join us before and after the game. But Gonzo, what's your thoughts on the side from Turf Moor?
Astounded, really, at their progress. It was a success story, huge success story, when you think of not only them coming up from the Championship, but them not being a big club in the Championship. Obviously, a historically big club, from whatever 100 years ago, whatever it was. But he's done an amazing job there, really, and they are. Well, they're not far behind Arsenal, are they? Let's be fair. To be safe this early is a miracle. They started very, very well and had a little dip, but they've seemed to have pulled it back again. And obviously, great win against Everton.
Yeah, I thought they were doing what I would call the Tony Pulis thing. You get to 40 points, then you just sort of bugger the rest of the season off a little bit. Then we're safe now. And they had that little bit of feeling about them. But the win against Everton, they're 5 points behind Arsenal now. And you do think, I actually want them to be looking at Arsenal going, you know what, we fancy getting them. We fancy overtaking Arsenal. And Arsenal are closer to Burnley than they are the Champions League spots. They're doing brilliant, but they're unsung heroes, if you like. Or one of the Premier League's unsung heroes here is Burnley's centre-back pairing, I think. This centre-back pairing, I was going to say is it the best outside the top six, but arguably I'd say it's better than some of the top six.
Well, they defend very deep, don't they? So it's me and Tchaikovsky. It's as good as I know. It's not Tchaikovsky, who's obviously died many years ago. But they're very good. They're very good. I think they defend deep as a unit. I'm not going to lie and say that I've watched a whole lot of them. I haven't, but I mean they just defend for all their lives. And I wasn't aware that they'd signed Lennon until very, very recently as well. So obviously they've got a little with that, and what's the fella's name? Barnes. They've got some real ability on the break as well.
Well, you just named two there, but is there anyone else you consider danger men from Burnley to watch out for on Saturday? Is there anyone you fear?
Well, the fella from Leeds, what's his name, the striker, he scored. So he's obviously he used to score well at Leeds, and he's got a goal in him. And Jack Cork. He's Jack Cork. He was a prodigy, wasn't he? He was meant to be a big thing. I seem to remember Chelsea signing him as a very, very young lad. I think I might be wrong, but it didn't really happen for him. And I think he's in his sort of towards his late 20s now. He's really bloomed. He's really flowered now. And I think with some people early on in the season, I seem to remember their talk about him, maybe getting into the England squad to go to the World Cup and stuff like that, whether he's quite that, I was going to say quite that good. Actually, you haven't got to be good to play for England, have you? So maybe it'll happen for him. But they've got some good players. It's a balanced team. They're better than the sum of their parts. But you can pick and choose little players here or there. But it's a good team.
Yeah, it's Goodmanson I like. Whenever I watch Burnley this season, he's the one that's caught my eye. I wouldn't mind him West Ham. It's Chris Wood, the striker you're talking about from Leeds. And that's part of the reason for their dip, I think, because they haven't been scoring many goals. But he's been injured. He come back at the weekend. He got the winner against Everton. I'd be surprised if Dice doesn't convert back to 4-4-2 and get him up front alongside Barnes. I think he got the equaliser against us earlier in the season. Remember when Carroll got sent off, we were hanging on for ages and ages, and then that ball come in and Wood bang, 1-1. But last thing we'll talk about on Burnley is their manager, Dyche. A lot of talk about Moyes. Is he the type of manager you would like to see at West Ham, or is he not for you, but you'll admire him from afar as long as he stays afar?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, brilliant. Well done. Yeah, going to be boring somewhere else, and I don't mean that to insult. Well, obviously it is insulting. If you're insulted, but I don't mean it to purposely be insulted. But it's just not what we need at West Ham. We're going to struggle to put bums on seats next season, depending on what division we're in. I think we need somebody that's going to play an exciting brand of football. So I don't think he would be for us. But what a fantastic job. He'd be brilliant for lots of different clubs. I hope he stays at Burnley, to be honest. I think as they lost a geezer to Everton, the centre-back, didn't they? As well as the striker, Gray. So bearing in mind he's lost 2 good players, I think the goalkeeper as well. They had the goalkeeper, was it Heaton? Is that him?
Yeah, Heaton's
Yes,
injured.
he got injured, and yeah, this geezer Pope came in. So do you know what? I think give him another. He might have 20, 30 million to spend. I think they'll just keep on improving. I hope he stays at Burnley.
Yeah, I think so as well. He's done a fantastic job, and they're a side actually. It's though they don't play beautiful football. I don't think it's as bad as he might get labelled with. It's certainly not Pulis and Allardyce, and I'd even say Moyes' football's no better than Dyche's, to be honest with you. But you're right. His what he's doing there is just fantastic, to be honest. He's replacing players he's lost with arguably better ones. And to be honest, I think Pope should be the England #1 at the World Cup in the summer, to be honest. I think he's outperforming the rest of his counterparts. But let's move on to West Ham. But before that, a couple of stats. Now, as Burnley have failed to score in 5 of their last 7 away games. They hadn't won in 12 games before the weekend against Everton. And West Ham, though, have only lost 1 of their last 8 at the London Stadium. However, 4 of those have been draws. Gonzo, we've got a lot to talk about in terms of our 11 because we're coming off the back of 2 heavy defeats. Liverpool you can write off, but you can't write off the Swansea one. There's got to be repercussions. Start with the goalkeeper. There's a lot of people that think Joe Hart should come back in. Do you agree with that, or would you be keeping Adrian?
I think you have to. I do think it's only fair, and I don't want to be overly harsh on Adrian, but you can't concede that many goals and expect to keep the shirt. And we said that when Joe Hart was letting in all those goals. So I think it's only fair. And he's going to be really pissed off as well. He's going to be very depressed if he doesn't get in. He'll be thinking, hold on, how many Adrian got to let in for me to get another chance? So I think he deserves a chance, and I'd certainly give him another chance. Was Adrian at fault for all those goals? No, but I do think you could pick out 1 or 2, particularly where he could have done better, particularly the first goal to Swansea, the daisy cut, a low one, and also the one where I said he should have caught it and he flapped it into Chicharito's face. So I think you can look at not just the overall conceding of all those goals. I think you can look at individual errors as well. I'd bring Joe Hart in.
Moyes gets a free pass on this one for me. On Saturday, I'm not going to criticise whatever keeper he chooses because I can see pros and cons for both. One of them's only going to be here next season. It's not Joe Hart, so you've got a question, sort of like it's this funny thing, isn't it? Can you put your faith in low knees, etc.? But Joe Hart is a professional. Joe Hart, he's under pressure to get to the World Cup. To be honest, his place he's gone from #1. He started the season as England's #1, and we're not even sure if he's now England's #3 keeper. You've got Pope, Butland, and Pickford that's arguably ahead of him, in my opinion, are. So putting him in could actually be sort of a very clever call, saying to Joe Hart, look, it's your place to lose now, and if you want to get on that plane, you need to be turning in man-of-match performances here. But for me, Moyes gets a free one. But the back 5, Ogbonna and Collins is back. They missed the last week, so they'll probably be in the back 3. Well, who would you put in the back 3 with them? Would you go Cresswell or?
No, I'm done. I'm done with the Cresswell experiment for a reason that we've just seen. Because actually, by playing a fullback at centre-back, if you do have injuries, it leaves you exposed. You just have too many fullbacks on the pitch. We've seen that. If we'd have had another centre-back in there, well, actually, we did. I don't know why I didn't move Kiate back, by the way. But if we'd have had another centre-back in there, then you don't have all those fullbacks on the pitch. It things all right. So I wouldn't. So I'd bring Ginge and I'd bring Ogbonna back. But I'd probably move Kiate back there, actually, and have that as the back 3, actually.
That's what I would be doing. Left wing back, Cresswell or Evra, or would you have Antonio or something?
It's a tough one. I think we need to win this game. They're going to sit back. You just gave the stat. They don't score many goals. We're going to have to go for it. So I'm playing Antonio there.
I'd have Cresswell there. I think when he came back out to left wing back for 2 or 3 games, I can't remember who we played, but we played a game at home. I think it was maybe Leicester who put Cresswell left wing back. He was our most attacking threat. He was getting further forward than the strikers at some point. And you're right, this is what we need. We need to get at Burnley. We can't. There's no scrap your caution first and respect the point and all that bollocks. It's now time to go for the win. And too often this season, we've been so everything down the middle because our wing backs just can't get forward. Zabaleta and Evra, they just can't get up and down the pitch. So everything comes through the centre, and it's far too easy to defend against, and it's far too easy to work out, and it's far too easy to attack. So get Cresswell back out in the left wing back. For me, though, I'm agreeing with Antonio wing back. However, I'm just putting him on the right wing back. He's statistically he's far more. He contributes more going forward as a wing back than he does as a striker. Fact, statistics. Gonzo, would you be keeping Zabaleta right wing back? Oh, by the way, for you watching, Reed and Byram are out for the season. So Byram, you cannot pick Byram. So if you were planning on picking Byram, think again.
Yes, I was. So are you moving Zabaleta into central midfield then?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to put. I'm going to bring Mario into the team.
Yeah, well, so was I actually, but. In the centre of the pitch, I almost chose Josh Cullen for this one, to be honest, for my personal choice, because I don't want Chiati in there. I want him centre back. So I thought, well, who goes in beside Noble? And I assume you're away to say Noble, Mario, Lanzini as your centre midfield.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have reservations about that. I think it's too attacking. As much as I would love to see us go attacking, I think someone like Dice would look at that and lick his lips and say, well, that's where we're going. We're going right through the middle of their pitch because it's Mark Noble. And if he watches what Swansea did to us, all he's going to take is someone who got up to Noble and started getting in his ear, and his head went. Last week, Noble's head went. So I'd have Zabaleta in there for cover. But I was tempted to put Cullen in there because ball of attention. Burnley will let you have the ball. So it's not about keeping the ball. It's about moving the ball. And it gives your Mario inclusion a little bit of credit, I suppose. But to be fair, I was dropping Lanzini, but I'll let you justify your overly attacking midfield.
Yeah, there's no huge tactical justification behind it. I just think we need to go for it. I think I'm looking at more ball retention. I really do. I'll take what you're saying. Maybe you'll go for that, but I think we're going to need more possession than we have traditionally had under David Moyes, and I do think Noble, Lanzini, and Mario in there are going to take care of the ball more. It's going to be more precious to them. They're not going to give it away. And I think if you then obviously are having an Arnautovic, Chicharito, and we're hoping Antonio comes and joins the attack as well, obviously you from the right, me from the left, then we're just going to need to retain the ball, and that's the reason I've gone for it. And the big thing is it does take Chiati out the firing line in the middle, and it puts him into centre back where we don't have many. If you got and also it puts Rice, it takes him out the firing line as well, and it also puts Cresswell on the bench. So if we do lose a centre back, we got a centre back in Rice on the bench, and also somebody in Cresswell who not only can play left wing back, but he can also play centre back if we need him to.
The one reason I forgot to mention for taking Cresswell out of there, Burnley like to get the ball wide and like to get the ball in the box. I have a fear if Cresswell's playing left centre back, Chris Wood is going to stand next to him constantly, just going to get the ball in here. I'm beating this guy in there every day of the week. You put the ball in there, I'm beating him. It's a bit like what Andy Carroll would do to opponents. Andy Carroll would look for the weaker centre back, or he'd go to the back post a lot and put himself up against the full back and say, get the ball in, I'm smashing into this guy. Chris Wood is one of the best in the air in the league. If you underestimate him, and this sounds harsh on Cresswell, it's just not his fault. He's just not that tall, and he's just not that strong in the air. He's a full back. They're not that aerial dominance isn't something you normally attribute to a fullback in the modern age in the Premier League. And I just fear Chris Wood will get a header if he goes up against Cresswell. But I would drop Lanzini for this one because I know he's only just come back, but he's been quite ineffective the last two games. And the one thing that was positive before the last few games was Mario and Hernandez's partnership. Them two clicked like that. They got the goal against Brighton. They got the penalty against Crystal Palace. And again, in the last weekend against Swansea, Hernandez was crap. Now, I'm not saying it's because Mario wasn't on the pitch, but I don't think it was that much of a coincidence because the link-up play between Hernandez and Arnautovic and Lanzini was non-existent at Swansea. I know they didn't get the ball too much, but when they did, nothing happened. There was almost three individuals rather than a trio. And I just think Mario works better with Hernandez. And Lanzini, I don't know, he's just not fully fit or he's just a little bit disinterested. I'm not sure, but I've been disappointed by him when he's come back the last two games because I'm his biggest fan. I'm just don't think he's been all that. Masuaku, this is Masuaku's last game he misses, so he's back for Southampton. But Gonzo, are you confident for this one?
I think it's impossible to be confident as a West Ham fan at the moment. I was confident before the Swansea game. I got that horribly wrong. Got the Liverpool game horribly right, but that was an easy one to call, really, wasn't it? To say we get thrashed by Liverpool. I thought we were going to stick a lot of goals past Swansea. It's very hard. This is a good team, and then the league doesn't lie. Burnley are a better team than us, and we're going to have to prove that, like I said, they're better than the sum of their parts. They've got a big team spirit. We, on paper, have better players than they have. You'd say Arnautovic would be comfortably the best player. So you spoke about Lanzini. Burnley, you spoke about Lanzini. Again, there's another one there. You know, a lot of these guys that we have, Antonio would walk into their team. But can we get those players playing cohesively together? I'm not so sure. And that's why I'm not confident. Unfortunately, we're just not looking very good. This is the old must win, mate.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not confident about this one at all. I wasn't overly confident for last weekend. Remember, I thought it would draw at Swansea because I just thought they were a well-organised team and they had a better manager. And it's just, you can basically go back to last week's preview and pick out that and put it in for this Saturday because it's the same again. I think they're well-organised. I think they've got a clever manager, a more switched-on manager, a younger manager who knows how to get the best out of his players and how to exploit the other team's weakness. I remember someone saying along ago, when was the last time we set up to exploit another team's weakness? Couldn't even tell you. You know, how often are we sat here going, oh, this team's not very good at this. Then you watch the game, we don't even attempt to go and probe that area of their weakness. But yeah, when it happens to us, we like tonight, I've just spoke about Wood against Creswell. We just know fine on Saturday the ball's going to come in and Wood's going to smash into Creswell in the header, and we're going to go, well, that was obvious. We can all see that coming. But it's just, I don't have faith in Moyes. I don't have faith in the team. How can you after getting smashed forward by Swansea? You know, but the thing with Burnley's a funny team. They're hard to beat, but I don't think they're hard to avoid defeat against, if that makes sense. I think 8 of their 13 visits to bottom half sides this season have been draws. They're not winning them, they're drawing them, but that is what keeps them down there and them up at the top of the pack, and they win the home version of it, etc. These are the games we have to win, regardless of where we are. Even if we were 10th, I'd still be saying this is the games we have to win in order to get to 9th and 8th, etc. But well, we're not very confident for this one, are we? But what's your prediction then, Gonzo? What's your score prediction for this one?
Well, I think I've got to predict we win, and I don't sit here because it's one. I hate that. You know, sometimes we do these videos, and people write in the comments, "Oh, you know, I'll never predict anything but a West Ham win," and I read it and I'm like, well, we have to. We've got to try and give it honestly, all right. And I know it's the old heart, and oh yeah, West Ham are going to win 3-0 every game, but so I'm not doing it for that reason. But I do think we are going to win because I think we have to, and I also think Moyes has to. And he made quite a telling comment in the week, which was, "A point is usually enough. We are now at a stage in the season where a point is not going to do it. We need to go for wins." That was telling. Well, we know you've been doing that, David, but at least you've admitted it publicly. We were at a point at some point during the season where we thought that Moyes had repaired his reputation. We knew when he was come to West Ham, it was a deal. It was a deal between the two parties. You rescue us, and we'll rescue you in terms of Moyes' reputation. There was a point where we thought he'd done that he would walk away with his head held high. We're not so sure now. If we go down, he's finished. We're probably finished as well, but he's finished. He won't get another job. I don't think you could survive dual relegations, particularly not with fair-sized clubs like Sunderland and West Ham, particularly clubs that have been in the Premier League for a few seasons. And I think he knows. I think he's going to go attacking. And I think whether he does your system, my system, or a combination of two, I think he is going to unleash the dogs of war, so to speak. And I think he's going to allow the attacking players a system to flourish. And I just think he's going to come out on top because anything else, don't bear thinking about.
What's your score prediction?
Oh, sorry. There you go. I just spoke for 2 minutes and didn't give one. I think we win 2-0.
See, I'm not that confident. I just think they're too organised, and I just don't have faith. I know what you're saying, but you ended up basically saying, I think we'll win because we have to. But we've been, you know, I thought that about last weekend. I thought, well, we have to win this weekend. The only thing that does sort of give me a little bit of hope is last weekend was Burnley's first win in 13 games They have failed to score in 5 of the last 7. And we have, under Moyes, we have made the London Stadium a hard place to come. You know, 1 defeat in 8 shows that, but the problem is we've drawn 4 of them. And those 4 games we've drawn are against the likes of Bournemouth, etc. And I'm going to stick with that theme. I think it's going to be 5 from 9 now. I'm going to go. A few weeks ago, I said stick with 1-1 for the rest of the season. Keep betting on 1-1, and you'll make a profit on West Ham. I'm going to be doing the same again this weekend. I'm going to be having my money on 1-1. But anyway, you guys at home, let us know what you think. Join us on the boat. The link is in the description if you fancy a beer and a burger with myself, Gonzo, and hundreds of other West Ham fans. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here. Let us know in the description, the comment below what team you would put out. I think there's a lot of options for this one. I mean, you can't get beat 4-1 by Swansea and put the same team out. Me and Gonzo have left out Patrice Evra, or we've been a little bit harsh. What are you laughing at?
Of course we've left out Patrice Evra. No one's going to comment below and say, you two are harsh for leaving out Patrice Evra.
Is this where Hugo should get a shot? Am I harsh leaving out Lanzini? Let us know in the comments below. There's a video coming out tomorrow night, which is on the accounts, which should be released. It's basically telling you what the figures are, etc., etc. And then on Saturday we'll have a review. Sunday we've got the vlog, and we've got more content coming out. Despite the fact we've got no game for 3 weeks. We'll see you soon.